What's up, guys? Matt here, coming at you with another quick video. It's been a little bit. I've had a lot of stuff going on, a lot of prep work, a lot of 10th scale stuff I'm working on. So back with the scx24. Hopefully you've seen my last video with the Kinetic double barrel shock upgrade. This thing's running those double barrel shocks. You can see it's got some nice flex going on there. Not even lifting this tire off the ground. Back tires are both on the ground, and this thing is running very little weight. Okay, I tried to keep the weight down on this. This is my dig rig running the dual N20 motors and ESCs. If you haven't seen that video, you'll definitely want to check it out. This is an upgrade for your stock shocks. You can see it uses the stock cap and bottom and gives it that double barrel telescopic feature. So you get tons of travel. So I wanted to do that for a heavier truck. So this is, what's on here right now. If you watch my last video, you see that those don't fit the hot racing shocks. Okay. Kinetic's got our back, y'all. They just released these hot racing shock upgrade. So same thing, but it fits the hot racing shock cap and bottom, apparently. So super excited about that, because now we get the best of both worlds. Really the only thing that I've liked about these hot racing shocks is they look cool. There's not a lot of performance gain out of them, just because they're the same length as stock and really don't change much of anything. They do have a little bit of adjustment, and that's pretty much it. So we're now going to get to test out what the hot racing shocks will do with some travel. So super excited. And like I said, I wanted to try this on a truck that has some weight. This thing is heavy. All right, I'm running weights in all the wheels, millstones, hot racing links, skid. This thing is like hot racing threw up on it. It was one of my first kind of builds, and I just went crazy with the aluminum. I just like the looks of it. I know it's not the greatest for performance, but I wasn't really going all out performance with this thing, more just kind of looks. But it does really well, actually. And so some more flex would be great. So let's see what it does with this. I'm curious. Okay, so I got the hot racing shocks off. Don't want to lose these little rubber pieces. So what you get with these, you get a very low pressure spring and a low pressure spring. I've been using the very low, and I really like that on this. It's a lightweight rig, so we'll see how that does with something heavier, but as of right now I prefer these. So let's pull this out of here. Let's just get one of them. So all we're going to do is, this drops down inside of there, I believe, this way. Okay. So that gives you your shock body that has basically double the travel. Somebody commented on one of my other videos, they're not twice as long. Well, they're not really, but if you look at the shock body there, you're getting twice that with the shaft, because your shaft's going to drop all the way down into here. So it can go up to here, and then the shaft can travel up into the normal body. Whereas here, it just has travel from here to here. So you are doubling your travel. So pull a cap off. I don't want this video to be like insanely long, but also want you to see how this is done. A lot of people are saying that you can use the hex head for this also. So we'll do that. I used my shock shaft tool last time. I've been working on the 10 scale, and everybody's like, it's got a hex head on the shaft. I'd kind of forgot all about that, honestly, because it's been a while since I've messed with any of these. So you're going to be able to pull this old shaft here. I'm assuming this collar will fit. Look at that. Threads right on. So we can take our shaft and drop it down in there. Okay, so here's a little issue I'm running into, and these are a new product for Kinetic, so I guess you could consider this product testing. And I just messaged them because I'm not 100% sure. I always think maybe I'm doing something wrong, but I don't know. Or I got sent the wrong piece or something. But these little brass tubes, the Hot Racing shock shaft has a bigger head on it. This is the Hot Racing. You can see the head on that, hopefully. Is bigger than this is a stock. The shaft is a tiny bit longer, and the head's different. So the Hot Racing won't fit down inside of there. That's supposed to go all the way down inside of there. It won't do it. The stock one will. See, and then you get what you're supposed to get. But so we may be grinding this down a little bit. Yeah, let's grind this down and see if we can make it work. Okay, so I'm kind of confused now. I barely touched this with the Dremel, a little sanding wheel. I didn't even like change the wheel or anything. I just took a little sanding wheel and went around this a couple times. Seriously, like a split second, and thought I would see what it did. And now it fits. So maybe my Hot Racing shock shaft had a little burr on it, or it's just a tiny bit bigger than the ones that Kinetic test with, because I'm sure they test fit these. With the quality of stuff that they put out, I know they didn't just decide to send these out without checking it. So I'm assuming it's probably on the Hot Racing end not being 100% true what they're supposed to be. So we're going to go with that. So I just brought the Dremel to the camera and look. I didn't even change the the tip on it. I had this on there sanding my body or something. I don't know what I was doing with it, but I'm not even going to mess with changing it. That will probably do it. That tiny little bit. Okay. So maybe it's something to do with Hot Racing's shafts not all being exact. Maybe mine are slightly different. But either way, with just a tiny bit of work, it works. Nice. So I'm going to end up making this video super long, but we keep it real, y'all. I was trying to show you, you know, I had a little issue there. Not going to fake it. Real time. So let me get another one of these stock ones pulled apart so you can see the difference here. You can see the difference in length here. And that little bit of travel versus all of that. So two things. Measure it. This is end to end 37 to about right at 50. And then this is going to compress all the way down to 28. That goes to about 29. Should be about the same, 29. And then another thing I want to get is the weight. Okay, so we're just going to use this 2.2. I gotta get this screw out of here. That's not fair. Stock one is, well, stock hot racing, whatever you want to call it. 1.9. The double barrel is 2.2. 0.3 difference in weight. So there's like none basically between these two. Alright, so I'm going to finish putting these together, get them installed on the truck, and we'll see how it sits, how it runs, all that fun stuff finally. Okay, so this is kind of a real quick important comparison here I wanted to show. This is the hot racing shock as it comes. This is with the double barrel. So you can see it hasn't changed the way the truck sits. Maybe that's a tiny bit higher, but I mean it's like a tiny bit difference, okay? If any. Could just be the way the truck's sitting. See? So the thing is, it doesn't change your ride height. If you want stiffer springs, they give you a little bit stiffer springs, so you can change that, but it doesn't. With these very low pressure springs on there, you can see this side is sitting exactly the same as this side. If I put a Charisma, one of my aluminum Charismas on here, which is a longer shock, one of these, it's going to change the way this sits. This side's going to be up. I'm just telling you now. So these don't change ride height at all, okay? But watch this. When I lift this rear end up, see that travel? See how much farther the right side is going? If I hold that level, you can really tell. So, no change to your ride height, but look at that flex, that travel difference. This side is hanging up that much more. See, there's where normal hot racing travel is. Then you get twice as much with that barrel sliding out. I mean, it's just genius, okay? One thing I wanted to check is, do these fit the Power Hobby? So I'm running the Power Hobby on this C10. And they are the exact same thing as the hot racing. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I know they are, but is everything the same? So will this screw onto here? Yes. Power Hobbies will fit. I'm pretty sure Trill will fit also. That's a discussion I've had with a few people this week about Trill. I don't really buy Trill anymore because I had a couple of little issues and I messaged them. I never heard back from them. Emailed them, never heard back from them. And so that's the same thing with the power hobby. You will have to grind just a little bit off of that head. I'm sure Kinetic's probably going to fix that. But for right now, you will have to do that to get that to fit in there. But they will work with the power hobbies. Like I said, Trill, I emailed them about some issues, messaged them on social media, and I never heard anything from them until me and a couple other people had commented on a post about how we'd had trouble getting in contact with them. Then they want to come out and say, oh, well, if you've had any issues, we would love to take care of them. No, you wouldn't, because when I messaged you and I seen that you read the message, but you don't respond to deal with my issue to start with, it's not cool that you want to deal with it once you've been called out on social media to me. So, you know what? I just won't buy your stuff anymore. And I have a bunch of Trill stuff. My Gen 8 is decked out in it. My Capra has a few things, and I'm almost to the point I'd take it off. But I'm just like that. I get aggravated and I'm done with something. So maybe I'm the only one. Well, I know I'm not the only one, but maybe me and a few other people I've talked to are the only ones that's had this issue with them. But I can tell you one thing. Kinetic and Full Send RC with their weights and stuff, anytime I've messaged them, I've heard back pretty quick. Both American made. And I'm not against getting anything from wherever, honestly. I adopted my sons from South Korea. My daughter was born in China. I promise you I have nothing against anybody, but if you don't show me support, I don't buy your product. So anyways, that's my rant about Trill. Nothing to do with this. Just I've talked to a few people this week about it, and I thought I would kind of let everybody know. So we're going to throw a battery in here and test this out and get to the meat of the video. Sorry this is so long, but I like to cover everything and show everything how it is. I try to keep it real. That's another thing I want to talk about. So after I did the video on these, Kinetic really liked that video and messaged me and wanted to send me some stuff to do videos on. One of them was this set for the hot racing. So I did get these for free. That's not going to change my opinion on anything. You guys know that I already raved over these and I love these. So that's not going to change my opinion. Never will. This is really the first company that's reached out to me and wanted to send me something to do a video on. So that's kind of a huge milestone for my channel. But it's also something I want to address, that I'm never going to push something that I don't like or I don't think somebody needs to spend their money on. And, you know, maybe I like these and I love them and I recommend them, and then you get them and you don't. If that happens, I apologize. I'm super sorry about that. But what works for me may not work for everybody. So you never know. I really like them, and that's all I can tell you. They sent me some beadlock wheels also, so we're going to be checking those out. And I'm just super pumped about this, but I wanted to address the fact that I did get these for free to test and show off. And so that's out of the way. So let's get a battery in here and run this thing. What's under your hood? The 3S. Let's run this thing on 3S and check it out. This truck's really not meant for this. Look, here's my son's paper airplane on the course. You can see there, it's pretty nice getting that flex. We saved it. These anglers really don't do that well on my course. That's amazing right there though. Look at that flex. Whoa, saved it again. Wow. I think I just put the front drive shaft in a major bind. Look at that. A little too much flex. Right there. That's where it's gonna hurt this truck. You can see, hopefully you can see that front drive shaft. How it's binding. It's getting too much flex there. Okay. And then it's stuck because the drive shaft is stuck there. So I may have to put my shocks back up in the original mounting position. I had them down on the chassis like that to get more travel. So let's move them up and see if it does better, because I like the shocks, but that's not gonna work. Okay, so I'll move the front shocks back so that we're not getting as much flex in that front. I'm gonna lose that drive shaft. I may eventually move the rears back to normal. For now, I'm just gonna try it like this. So I've made that before with the regular hot racing shocks. So I think the extra travel is too much. So it made it just was quite a bit harder, honestly. Just having the extra flex made that spot tougher. So it's going to be good in some spots, like you've seen over here when it was flexing out. It's really nice in these uneven areas like this, you know, where this shock here is compressing all the way in and that one's extending way out. That's where it really pays off, is your super off camber type stuff. But it didn't do as well on this straight climb here. It's letting this body get too far away from the tires, in my opinion. Okay, so this video is super long. I apologize. Thank you for anybody that's hung around to the end. I just wanted to say I'm kind of glad these didn't work out perfect on this truck, just to show that what I say works awesome on this may not work for your application. So just because I felt like they worked awesome on here, they do for me. Doesn't mean they're going to work for everybody. So I'd hate for everybody to go buy something like this and then it not work for them. So just know, you know, there's a chance it may not work for you. Just like with this hard body, it's not going to be my shock of choice, I don't believe. I may move these up, try to get it a little more normal angle there, and I don't know. But to me, this truck performed really well for a hard body with stock length shocks. So I think these longer shocks are going to be more suited for something like this. Just like before, I wouldn't have put Charismas on this because I knew I didn't need that much travel for this type truck, okay? It's more of, I guess you could say, a trail truck for an scx24 versus these things. So just know that what works for me may not work for you. Overall, I love the look of these on the hot racing shocks. You know, you get that good look of the hot racing shock plus the travel if that's what you're going for. So I'm definitely going to be putting those on here and then moving these plastic ones to this truck since you don't really see the shocks on it as much. So it'll add a little bling to this dig rig. One thing is I messaged Kinetic this morning. It was super early. Within a couple hours, I've already heard back from them. So with the shock shaft not fitting in that brass tube, they said that they had no problem. They are using a new set of hot racing shocks that they just got recently to test with these. Mine are super old. I've had them for, a good 6-8 months now. So maybe there's a difference in that. I don't know. So they didn't have the issue I had. So maybe you will, maybe you won't. It's kind of hard to say. Just know that there's a possibility you could run into that issue and have to trim a little bit off of that. But it didn't require much work, and just goes to show what I was talking about with the companies. This Kinetic, boom, they're on it. As soon as I messaged them, it was a couple hours later, probably like as soon as they got up and rolling, because I think there's a pretty good time difference between me and them. So I've already heard back from them, and from my understanding, they haven't had any issues, and their hot racing shocks fit fine. So it's something to do with the issue of hot racing shock I have. My power hobbies were the same way though, so I'm going to send them measurements from those. That way they can kind of see what could possibly be done there. But just wanted to touch on that and let you know that they did get back with me super fast on that. So overall, like I said, this thing's just, with this much travel, it's letting this big heavy body get too far away from the wheels. So when you're climbing and that body's getting that far away, especially the rear, I need to fix that. I think moving those up would help, but just, I don't think I need that much travel. Less is more on this type setup. So for me, honestly, stock length is probably better for something like this. So just know that it may not be the perfect shock for every setup, but there's no way there is anything that's perfect for every rig. It's just not going to happen. Everything's set up different, and that's the fun part of this RC stuff, is playing with your own stuff and setting it up how you like. So I apologize if anybody feels like I ever steer them wrong on anything. I wouldn't do it on purpose. Just what works for me may not work for you. So definitely appreciate everybody sticking around watching this. I know it's a super long video, but I'm trying to get all the facts and stuff in there for you. So definitely hit the like, subscribe, all that stuff. Got a lot coming up. I appreciate it. Peace.